Good afternoon, dear parents. My name is Dr. Onochie-Nnolim. I'm sending this video recording of my presentation just to touch base for two reasons. Just to touch base with you, mainly because during the last back to school night, unfortunately, I was absent due to illness. And secondly, after the publication of the first quarter progress report, I really did want to reach out because during that process I have gotten enough time to get to know my students, and hopefully they get to know me and my work process. So I wanted to curate this video to send out to all my parents. So, first, to introduce myself and put a face to the name as your child's biology teacher. And then, secondly, to show you what we've been doing and how you can help us so that we can finish this first quarter strongly and finish the school year strongly. So, like I said earlier, I'm Dr. Onochie-Nnolim. I've been teaching for about 17 years now in Prince George's County Public Schools. My training, my background is actually microbiology. As a teacher, I'm on a mission to influence students' learning and encourage them to be independent thinkers and problem solvers. If you want to get in touch with me, I know you know this. This is my email on address, and I'll be happy to get back to you within 48 hours. After this presentation, I'm going to send a link to this presentation because this presentation has some active link, so you can have access to the resources that I'm going to share in this presentation. On this slide, I have for biology the syllabus, which I'm about to share now. Now, talking about biology is a whole one unit credit unit course that is required for graduation. Um, the whole point of this course is to prepare students for their end of course examination at the end of the year. The name of the end of course examination is the Life Science MISA, and everybody has a stake in this test. For the students, um, 20% of their grade for the course is computed based on their performance on the LS MISA. So think of it like the whole year you have 4 quarters. Each quarter is 20 points. The LS MISA is another 20 points, making it 100 points. And that's how they are computed um, on the course, whether they get an A or a B, depending on how they performed in each of the quarters and the LS MISA. Um, so let's talk a little bit about grading. But before I do that, I would like to explain how my classes run. Um, I believe that students come into the classroom with varying degree of knowledge. Um, and that could be influenced by the kind of teacher they had before coming to me, and also, the background they're coming from. So, because of that, I truly believe in the model of meeting students where they are, and I have adopted a method of teaching that is called the modern classroom approach. It is made up of three parts. One is mastery based, meaning that a student has to demonstrate mastery of the first lesson to progress to the next. Because one of the things I've noticed in my years of teaching is that students have a lot of knowledge gaps, and it's kind of like a sponge. When you heap more knowledge on top of that, they don't have anything to hold it. They don't have anything to pull from, and that makes it difficult, and they keep failing and as they move on. So I truly believe in this model of mastery-based learning, where a student only progresses to the next level after demonstrating mastery of the previous lesson. It is challenging to do. I'm going to show you in a moment what we've done so far, but we are pushing through it. I'm proud of what our students are doing, and I want to encourage other students that are not still on board to jump on board, and that's where you come in, my dear parents. The other aspect of my teaching, which after the mastery base, the other aspect is student paced. Now, Biology is a very vast course, and there's a lot of concepts we're supposed to cover before the school year, before the end of the school year, for them to be ready for the LS MISA exams. Nonetheless, I try to give some flexibility, um, some control on how students progress through the lesson by not truly rushing them. And that only works if the students actually are honed in and focused on the work. For instance, if they come to class and spend the whole 90 minutes doing absolutely nothing, playing on their phones, that just makes the work just piles up, and they start feeling, once the deadline comes, and they start feeling the pressure. And I wanted to avoid that from the first day of school. So what I did was I created two deadlines, a soft deadline and a hard deadline. A soft deadline is what is presented in Canvas. Then a hard deadline, I put it on the board. So the soft deadline is that students are supposed to complete their work in class as it should, right? But things happen, they're absent, or something is happening for some reason, they can't complete the work in class, they have the hard deadline. So that's giving them some kind of leeway, and it only works if they actually are serious with the work. If they're playing and trying to push off the work towards the later deadline, it's just going to be packed up. So we've talked about mastery, we've talked about student pace. The other part of the my teaching model is kind of like a hybrid blended learning where there will be recordings of lessons, which I've not really started in earnest. I did for some lesson, but not in all. So there's some videos I'll be curating, either recording for myself or creating videos from online on the concept. So far, we've been using a puzzle, and I think that's fine. But I'm trying to move away from that and be making my own videos because, well, I feel that it might be more impactful, and at least they know what exactly we need to cover, the skills that we need to cover to be proficient in that lesson. So that's how my class is structured. Those three things: mastery, student paced, and then mastery, student paced, and blended learning. Now, with the grading in sciences, at least in Prince George's County public schools, you have the classwork, which constitutes 35% of their grade. For me, classwork can be graded based on accuracy or completion or a hybrid of the two. So for them completing the work, they get their 50. Then the other 50 is based on how well they did the work. So it depends on the activity and the assignment, and that's how I grade. Independent practice is mostly graded on completion. This gives the student an opportunity to practice what was taught in class, give them more opportunities to solve problems. And as long as they've honestly done it, they get the full credit for that. So that's homework grade. Assessment is always by accuracy. And this gives me an idea of where the student is in terms of mastery. So I'm going to share with you a, a, um, a spreadsheet that actually spreads out, that shows students' performance in the course, so that you can use that spreadsheet and identify your student's name by their um, student ID, see how they're completing working class. So I'm going to explain that shortly. Give me a second. Just making sure that it's ready. Give me a second. Okay, so that is ready there. So I just made that slide ready. So just give me a second. Thank you. So here, talking about the curriculum for the quarter, access this presentation. You can access not the curriculum, but the syllabus for the course. For this quarter, these are the broad topics that we are covering. And right now, we've covered half of this. Um, Based on their curriculum, they're supposed to cover two units. We're just concluding unit one. So here where it says stakeholders, opinion and population dynamics. Um, this is or disturbance, resilience, and population decline. This brings us to the end of Unit 1. And sometime next week, they're going to take their Unit 1 test. After that, we're just going to jump in and go into Unit 2, which is more of evolution and natural selection. So these are basic topics that we'll be covering for both Unit 1 and Unit 2. And that's for first quarter. So we're a little bit behind by a unit. It's still, and that's a source of concern for me. But a good thing is that some of the things that we've covered, for instance, for quarter two, I've already covered this last two bullet points. It has already been done. So we even though we're spending a lot of time, we're actually treating some of the courses that we're supposed to, some of the topics we're supposed to cover in other quarters. So I believe, if as long as I don't lose sight of of our pacing, that would be ready for the MISA test by the end of the year. But I just wanted to show you where we are. We started immediately after school. In my class, everybody is supposed to have a um, a a composition notebook for my class. So that is the syllabus for biology. I Now that I've explained everything, the next question is, so where do you come in? How do you help us? How do you support our learning? Um, like I said, it's an honor to, for the past 2 months or thereabout, to get to know our students, their strengths and their weaknesses. I want to share with you now the progress monitor. This I'm going to share as a link in a presentation, and you can always have your child pull up their progress monitor. They know where to find it on Canvas and show you what their progress monitor looks like. So I have 3 sessions of biology on the bottom side here. Let me make sure I'm sharing the screen. On the bottom side here, you have 3 of the classes that I teach biology. We have 3B, 4B, and 2A. First is to find out what class period your child has me. So depending on the class period, you pick the class, and then we are currently in Unit 4 lesson, sorry, we're currently still under Unit 1, we're in Lesson 4. And Lesson 4, there are 2 parts. So we have the activity parts, and then we're going to have the lab, which we're going to finish up this week. So, like I said, with my mastery-based learning, a student cannot progress to Lesson 2 unless they've demonstrated mastery in Lesson 1. So on the drop-down, possible codes that I use to differentiate the students. Mastery is when a student has completed the activity, and based on that, in the quiz, every activity ends with a quiz. So they show um, mastery by earning at least 70% and above. So if a student scores less than 70, I put them under the redo portion. And what that means is they have to go back. There are skills that are missing that the kids need to go and recover. And what I do in for reteaching is to assign them an I excel on that skill or concept that we taught about. Now, once a student completes that, the grade for the I excel and their initial grade on the quiz, the average is what's going to be imputed in synergy, and then I'm going to change the child's status to progressing. So that's how it works. So mastered, they they had 70 in the quiz or for the activity. Redo, they had less than 70. And progressing is that they've completed their IXL reteaching activity, and whatever they scored plus the initial grade divided by 2 will be imputed in synergy as their final grade, and they are going to be allowed to progress to the next lesson. So that's how it is. So you can imagine there's a lot of moving parts in the classroom. And this last one is people that have just not done anything. And those are the ones that I'm actually very concerned about. So when you get access to this form, or you ask your child to show you this form, they should be able to tell you where, because based on their student ID, tell you where they are. So, like for instance, this person here is ready to move to the next one. Actually, we started this last class, so I haven't gone in to check, but we're going to update it maybe before you even see this presentation. So this child is ready. So a lot of people in this class, most of them are on pace. So I'm really proud of students in my 4B class. However, there are a few students that are not doing anything in class, and that's where you come in. This is where I need your help, because the more we complete lessons and the further they fall apart, they're just going to give up. It's going to be too daunting for them to move on. They're just going to give up, and we're just in first quarter yet, and it's not going to change. So this is the time to get them. For parents, if your child is all green, congratulate them. Tell them well done. Incentivize them. You know, encourage them, and let them keep doing what they're doing. If your child is a redo, encourage them still. Tell them you appreciate them for keeping up with their work, but they should be asking questions and seek clarification, and go to their peers when they don't understand if they cannot see me directly. In fact, I encourage them to talk to their peers. Yes, some people that get it and some people that don't. That interaction is very important. So encourage them to seek out the people that seem to understand it and ask them to teach them. That is acceptable. So we want to see these people more of a like we want to see more of the green, but we do appreciate the yellow because they are still making an effort. For those that just are not doing anything in class, we need to get on them ASAP. We need to get on them, because it's only going to get worse, and it's going to reflect in their progress report. If you ask them about their progress report, they are going to be failing. There's no two ways about that. They're going to fail. And they're not failing because they're not smart. They're failing because they're not working. So this is where I really need your help monitoring this progress monitor of your child and being on top of it. Okay, let me see. Why are we having a red? Why haven't we done it? Show me. Where is your notebook? Where is the lesson? Where's the information about the lesson? Show me the canvas page where this assignment was posted. Accountability. Let them be held accountable. Right. So that's where I really need help. This class 4B is one of my best class, and you can see the greens, followed by this class, which is so surprising. It's so surprising, followed by this class. I'm not even proud of this class because there's a lot of people that are not doing their work. And I do appreciate the few that are doing their work. So please, parents, encourage them. But if your child is one of those that are not doing their work, please get on them as soon as possible. And then this class is my worst class in terms of students' productivity. So I really need your help to make sure that they finish strongly. Otherwise, they're going to fail this course. As you can see, like there's two kids here. They had a redo because they got less than 70 on the test for the activity. They did their IXL and they're moving on. They're ready for, they should be working on their fourth assignment. So even though I'm doing student pacing, I'm monitoring them and encouraging them. And I don't want them to feel like they have time, because we don't really have time. And as I've shown you, we're behind by almost a unit. So I really do need your help. I can't do this without you. So I have shared how you can help me. So monitor synergy, monitor their progress chart. Make sure that they are greens. Dark green or light green is all you need to see. Don't see yellow. Don't see red. Don't accept it. So that's where you can help me. I'm also monitor synergy. So in synergy, I'm going to create a bunch of assignments. Um, because the quarter is coming to an end very quickly. So you know what is going in, and ask them to make sure that all assignments has been done. I've spoken to them. I've told them what I'm going to do. So I don't want this. It's not going to come as a surprise to the students because I sound like a broken record saying the same thing over and over again. But for parents, I wanted to bring you in to know exactly what's going on, how my class progresses, so you see this for yourself. Ask to see their notebook. Every child is supposed to have a composition notebook that was set up since the beginning of school. There are 3 or 4 items that have been put in already. 2 of them has been graded. So ask to see that. Then lastly, if you have any lead for where you for field trips, I'll be happy to take that. Also, I'll be needing volunteers for field trip if that's a possibility. I know for volunteers with PGCPS policy and procedures, volunteers are supposed to take a mandatory safe school training, and if you have that already, that's beautiful. You can join us in the field of learning for field trips. I'll be totally honored. Before I wrap up my presentation, which I do apologize, it's so long, but it's just trying to push all the things that I've been meaning to tell you in one video. Um, I don't normally do extra credit. It's solely based on the work of the class. I really don't do extra credit or a packet to help bring grades. I don't believe in it. Students fail because they either not completing the work, and because they're not completing the work, they're lacking understanding. So my job as a teacher is to try to make sure that I'm curating work that will improve their understanding, and it's my expectation that they complete it. So I don't do extra package, but once in a while I give opportunities like extra credit for helping someone in class, um, for supplies. For instance, this supply list is only collected during first quarter only. I'm not doing it for second, third, or fourth quarter. This is it. It's not mandatory, it's for extra credit. These are supplies that we use in the classroom. Um, and some of them from previous years is what I'm still using. So if you can provide this in the classroom, I'll be totally grateful. But it's not mandatory, it's just an extra credit activity for first quarter only. Attendance, I will be sending home to expect a letter from me about your child's attendance in my classroom. Students don't learn if they're not in the classroom. So I'll be sending out your attendance report. If a child misses 3 or more classes this quarter, I'll be sending out emails to parents to notify them. Um, Once a child has been marked as having excessive absence, it is expected that I refer that child to SEAT. So, but the first point of contact is parents. So I'll be sending out that report soon. When you're absent or sick or whatever reason, because life happens, please ensure you send your notes not to me, but to Miss Stratafield. She's the one that our attendance secretary. She will collect the note and impute the appropriate code in the system for us to use. um, if a child, we're getting to the flu season right now, and if your child comes down with a COVID, please do send an email to Mr. Miller and the nurse, Miss Jefferson. So these are their emails over here. If your child has a positive case of COVID, um, so that appropriate measures and instructions can be given. I have gone over this. One thing that I forgot to mention here is STEM Fair. We did roll out STEM Fair last week. Every student taking biology is expected to complete a project independently and present on STEM Fair. This constitute grades for both first and second quarter. We did roll it out last week. It's going to be made up of classwork, homework, and assessment grade. So what we rolled out is 2 assessment grade. It was a piece of paper where they plan their project. So encourage them, ask them about their STEM Fair project. They will be working with this till December. So on Canvas, ask to see the Canvas space for STEM Fair to get more information on this. Lastly, I want to talk about the rules that I have in my classroom. Before now, I only have two rules, which is respect and responsibility. Respect of peers, respect for each other, respect for the class space, respect for time, respect. So respect can be seen in different situation and context. So is responsibility. Come to class on time, turn in your homework, complete all assigned tasks, ask questions. You're responsible for your learning. So we talked about that the first week of school. Now I'm thinking of adding a new expectation, which I recently, in the beginning of the school year, I had sent out a form informing parents that I will be doing the National Board Certification Program, and I got back those forms. So thank you very much for this support. And I did have started recording my class instruction. And in one of those recordings, I noticed students wearing headphones, not paying attention. Sometimes you ask students questions, you're like, huh? They don't understand. Like, how are you in class and you're teaching and you're having headphones on? How are you learning? So that is a big problem. I've always known technology and devices, we're competing with social media. It's been difficult, but I see the impact that that's having on student understanding the course. So I've curated this new rule where I'm asking that all students get rid of their electronic devices, all of them, AirPods, everything, when I'm teaching. They can use it after, but when I'm teaching, when I'm standing in front of the class, and we're doing an activity and I'm explaining something, I don't want to see it. So the first consequence is as a verbal warning. And the second one, because I give a lot of participation points, I will take away those points. And I'll put it in the synergy notes so that you know this is why they lost the points. They don't know about this rule yet, but I put it here because I want to talk to you guys about it first before I implement it starting next week. I do, I will do appreciate feedback on all this information that I've passed. If you have any questions again, please shoot me an email and feel free to even talk to me through your child's phone if you need to speak with me very briefly. Again, every child in my class is supposed to have a composition notebook. I've done a composition notebook check. I know a lot of people were coming in and out of my class, scheduling, rescheduling, but I've tried to keep on top of that, that every student is supposed to have a composition notebook, no exceptions. Lastly, tutoring services. We've we are settling in on our procedures in class, and I've noticed some people need more help than others. If you think your child will benefit from tutoring services with me, I'm more than happy to provide that after school. You just have to take care of the child's transportation back home. So if that's something you think you're interested in, you can shoot me an email and we can move from there. If you have any questions again, feel free to send an email and I'll be happy to respond or clarify. Have a good day. Bye.